I'm Dan Galusha, and welcome to another edition of Shootin' Plink. Recently I did a video short which was about how to teach yourself knife throwing. Just the basics and for a beginner. The first thing that you definitely want to do is stick a knife. And that's why I told you the way I did. Do it up close. There's no major deal about you having to get back to the main distance of 13 feet, which is the general competition distance. And then of course they go back a little bit further than that, but don't worry about that. Just start sticking them so you can see what the fun of it's like. And that's what we're going to go through today too, is some of the knives and the different things that you might go. And I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible. The one thing you don't want to do is start out with these $5 specials of 3 knives that are so stinking light that you can take them and just snap them like this. Now this was a special, and this is a cold steel knife, but this is what happened to it. On the first time we started using this set of 3, right there, you can see the handle broke right off, and that's what the handle looks like normally on the regular one. You can see it on a knife. There's what the handle is supposed to look like, and it just snapped off. First thing was, it's kind of lightweight. It was good and sharp. The edges are sharp, which they're not extremely sharp, which is good. That's what you don't want when you start these, but the point was good and sharp. Just didn't have the weight to it, and that's what we're going to talk about too. What I like to do is, if you're just starting out, let's see, I'll try to find the one I want here. Most of these are cold steel because you don't want to go high dollar. And cold steel a lot of times has some sales on them. That's not too bad. And you don't need to get a full set of 3 if you don't want to, or unless you get a fantastic deal on them. This, I started out just getting them singly. This is a 10-inch knife. This is one of the Flight Series knives. And the point isn't too bad, except that you can see how much I've used that, and it's kind of beat up. It needs tailored a little bit. But here's the thing, you don't want this sharp up in here. Now you do get burrs on them, and I'll show you. I don't know if you can see this or not. There's a few burrs on these. They will catch your hand. So what you want to do is you want to take a file and get them off. But you don't want this necessarily real sharp. This is sharper than what it's, like I said, it's went through a few filings, it's everything else. Because when you're going to half spin this, and half spin's probably one of the best ways you can start off, you want to grab it like this, and you don't want a knife that's going to cut you. And this one really isn't going to cut you. As you can see, I'm running that blade right down my finger, and I'm not doing anything with it. But when you're going to start it like this for a half spin, and we're not going to go into, there's also a military half spin and all that, just a half spin. I want you to stick the thing. And we're not going to go way back. We're going to be going between that 7 and 8 foot distance, which is actually a dartboard distance. And if you've ever thrown darts, you're probably going to be able to do these. The thing I like I said, it's a 10-inch knife, and it's right around, this one's a little less than 10 ounces. I like to have ounce for inch. That's the way I like it the best, but you're not going to find that a lot. If you can find a 10-inch knife that's around 8 to 10 ounces, that'll work. And this one, the way it's made, it's not a no-spin knife. There's no doubt about that, but it can be used as one. And in a way, it's not too bad to start with for no-spin, because the way it's tapered, you got it here, and if you're in a situation where you can use your finger here, it's going to work good. But you've also got it up this way, so if you need to go up higher with it on your grip, you can have it like this, and you have a lot of good spring to it. Depends on what sort of a no-spin here. If you use your finger like this as a spring, whatever you're going to do. But again, we're going to start out just like you normally would. Now let's talk about another knife. Now this is where you'd go a little bit higher up, more advanced I'd say, but it'll have a good stick to it. I'm going to show you a couple of them. This one is a Jack Dagger, and again, this is cold steel. This one, though, does have a sharp edge, so you have to be very, very careful with it. Like I said, this is something that you're going to perhaps go to later if you find out you like to do it. Just go with something like, get a single knife, one knife. You can see if it's going to be what you want to do. This one right here, this is what they call a sure balance. Again, both of these are cold steel. This one is much heavier. I think this one Weighs about 15 ounces, and it's about 15-inch knife. 15-inch knife weighing 15 ounces, so that's not bad. And this one's the same way. Both of these, they're both the same deal. As I said, weight for this. This is a good balanced knife, though. If you want to go to something a little heavier, this is good. Now, what does a nose spin knife actually look like? Your main nose spins, you want to have a completely flat tang. The thicker the better, like this one right here. This one, I can't tell you the model of it. It's a throw club, they call it, I think. No, it's not. It's a DWFK HT. I mean, like I said, you don't have to go with the real high dollar stuff to start off, because you don't know what it's going to be like. But this one's got a good flat area all the way across, and you can do it just like this. So that works out good. Can it do as a half spin? Yes, it can. It's got a good sharp point, and this is not sharp. This is actually thick. You can see I run my finger along it. I'm not cutting myself. But it will work good for a half spin, and because of this, it will also work for a full spin. Now, I like to full spin them like this. Some people throw them this way. You can do it either way, but it's just got, to me, a better spin to it. And we won't use that till we get back to 13. You can tell. Pretty good steel, and this is a stainless steel. Those are carbon steel, those others I showed you. And we're going to start out by doing some half spins. So let's get around here, and then I'll show you just the basics, because I want you to stick it to start with. Don't worry about accuracy. Just hit this target. So let's do it. Okay, we're going to try the half spin now. And again, we're going to start with the Cold Steel Flight Series one here. Take it just like this, just about in that area. And again, we're at that dartboard throwing range, just in between there, just a wee bit. So let's see what happens. It's stuck, and that's what you wanted it to do. Now we're going to take this actual nose spin knife, which I say can be used for several different things, and we're going to throw it half spin. And it's stuck. And that's what you want to do. You want to try to get so that they're sticking straight. And those aren't too bad. If you overspin, underspin, no, you're going to have to change your grip just a little bit. Just for the heck of it. Now, like I said, keep throwing. These usually will come in a set of 3, but like I said, buy them individually, like these were. And, well, that one come in a set of 3. That one that I said that was the nose spin knife, that did come in a set of 3. Get to the point where you can stick 3 in a row into there, way before you ever start concentrating on bullseyes. Once you start getting good enough at that, then start concentrating on those bullseyes. And what you do then is you concentrate right on the spot you're throwing. It's the way you should do anyway, all the time. Basically, though, when you're starting, you're concentrating on the whole target because you want it to stick. I want you to have fun with this. Forget the competition and things. You're not an Adam Saladin. And maybe eventually you'll become one, 5-time world champion, or Jack Dagger, like I told you. Anyway, we're going to grab those knives again, and we're going to go back to, in fact, before I do that, I'm going to get one of them heavier knives, and we're going to half spin that. Okay, what I grabbed is a Sure Balance one right here. It's got it on a handle upside down, but anyway, it's a heavier knife, like I told you before. And I'm going to use it with my non-throwing arm because I'm having to teach it that way. And we're going to throw this half spin. I didn't pick the other one because, for one thing, it has sharp edges, as you can see. This one does not. Half spin throwing, it's better not to have those sharp edges. There. See, the weight of that helped. This is my non-throwing arm. I'm trying to teach it because this one's healing. This one's in pretty bad shape. So, we did that. Now let's go back. Just for the heck of it, we're going to go back and do full spins. Again, we're talking about just starting, so don't go back there right away. Okay, we're all the way back here to the 13-foot area. And we're going to try these first. Lay that heavy one down. We didn't bring the Jack Dagger back to this, but we're going to throw this with the non-throwing arm. Stuck, and that's what I wanted it to do. Again, same thing here. You notice I get this one upside down, and it's stuck. Low, but it's stuck. Now here's the heavy one. This one's going to be a little bit different because I got to judge it for it. Bullseye. So they stuck. But again, you're not necessarily going to do that right off the bat. I'm going to show you on these. This one did stick in the bullseye, as you can see. And it stuck. From back there, throwing in a non-throwing arm is pretty much like a person would just starting out, and it only went in that deep. If I was throwing it with this arm, probably go in much deeper. But I will show you how you'd grip this. I got it clear up to here. Now each knife is different, and it'll be for however the person actually would do it. But now here, of course, when I threw it like that, and I threw it with my throwing arm. These, that stuck in there pretty good. It went up to about here, which wasn't too bad. Again, I used my non-throwing arm on it, but I gripped it right here, like that. And most of them, if you do that from the 13-foot area, usually it's about that far, just so that it fits right in, just like this. So it's right down here. That's most, not all. Now this one, I used this. You notice it's like this, and that's what I did, is I tucked it just so it went like that. Each knife, again, is different, so you have to figure it out. I'll keep notes on it. Each different model knife I've got, I'll put a note. Okay, I grip it so-and-so and whatever, throw it a certain way, or in this case, like a no spin, just like that, and just take my finger, and it was a no spin. Close. It was up close. That's what you want to do when you start with your no spin. Start up close. In fact, even, I'll show you one way to do it, and I've seen a person doing this. They're up this close. They don't throw it. In fact, that's even not close enough. You step up to where you take it like this, and you know just about where you're going to release it. Then you come back like this, and you stick it. And you just work your way back slowly doing that. But that's no spin. Again, I want you to start with a half spin like I first showed you. Go back to that 7-foot mark and go with a half spin. And if you have to, put it down lower and throw downward into it. That will also be a way to teach you, and then work your way in. Again, I'm trying to make this fun so that a person doesn't sit there and they get frustrated. They're throwing. It's like, I can't stick those things. They go clang every time. And yes, we all have those clangers that hit, ricochet, bounce, whatever, especially if you got a new knife that you're learning on. So if you're just starting, you've got double. You've never thrown them. You've got a new knife that you're working on, and that's it. That's why you want a knife that will stick. Don't go with these real lightweight things like I told you. Go with something with some weight. That's why this type right here really works good for it. And you can do a regular no spin like that. So, you know, a couple of techniques that you can go with, and then work your way back. 10 feet is another distance. We're not even going to go into that because you do it a little bit different. I will go into it this much. Like back there, I threw it like that. If I was throwing it 10 feet, I'd probably throw it like this. There for 13, there for 10. So it's a little bit different in each one. Go back to 16. There's all different ways you can do that. In fact, one of the ways I do it at 16 is I will take it and throw it at a half spin. The only difference is, instead of down here for a half spin, I've got it clear up there. So by telling you all this, you can see I'm not telling you to do it right away. I'm telling you that there are a lot of different ways to throw them. And each person just happens to have their own way of doing it. And see, that was a clanger, but it actually stuck. It just caught that other knife. So that's what I said. Just do it. That's a no spin upside down. So until next time, shoot safe, throw safe, and have a great day of plinking.